guys, happy Thursday. Okay, today I'm gonna show you how to do some beans, specifically pinto beans from scratch. This is one of the reasons why I love my Instapot. My entire adult life, I have made my beans from scratch, and I've always done them in the slow cooker. And what I do is I sort my beans and rinse my beans, and I would soak them overnight, and then I would cook them all day in the slow cooker. This, I can go from raw to cooked, with 30 minutes cook time in the Instapot, which is one of the reasons why I'm obsessed with an Instapot. So, I'm just assuming, these recipes are all super basic for my friends that have asked me to give them basic recipes. So I'm kind of assuming that a lot of y'all have just bought canned beans over the years. So this is I'm just gonna show you what to do with one pack of, this is 16 ounces of pinto beans. So all you do is, you always sort your raw beans because they're, not every time, but a lot of the times there's little pebbles and rocks in there, and if you just rinse them and throw them in the pot and cook them, you can literally crack a tooth or something like that from not sorting your beans. So what I do is I just take the pack and I pour them into my hands, and then I put them into a colander. I pour them in my hands, I pour them in a colander, and any beans that look a little funky, whatever that looks like to you, or any rocks or pebbles I throw away, and then I rinse them. So this is just rinsed dried beans. So I'm putting them in the Instapot, just like that. This is exactly, if you don't have an Instapot, this is exactly what I would have done in my slow cooker. But the slow cooker takes, like 8 hours. So that's why I love the Instapot. So, and then what I do is I blend. I use, I love this, this is Trader Joe's diced and fire roasted tomatoes. I've gotten in the habit of blending it because my daughter doesn't like tomatoes chunky. She'll have tomatoes mixed up but not chunky, so I put them in the blender. And then I used to buy the cartoned chicken broth, but now I love this better than bouillon chicken broth right here. And so what I do with that is, let me just add some water into the can, I'm spilling everywhere, into the can of tomatoes. And then I just take this is just chicken broth in a gel. So I just take like a big heaping spoonful. No, it does tell you the ratio on here. If you put too much, it will just end up being a little bit too salty. So that's chicken broth. So basically, if you have, however you have chicken broth, put chicken broth in with the stewed tomatoes. And then let's see, I'm gonna start with 2 large cloves of garlic and 2 small ones. So 4 cloves of garlic in there. I'll just put the spices in here. Some cumin, remember that conversation the other day? Some chili pepper, chili powder right there. That really adds to beans. Luke is over right now, and I asked him if he would want some, he wanted them regular or chipotle. So he said chipotle, so I'm adding this little chipotle salsa in here. Chipotle is pretty strong, so you don't need this whole can, because this isn't a lot of beans. If I was doing a few bags of beans, I would do this whole can. And I'm just gonna do like a third or a half of a can of that. And then I'm just gonna blend it together. Blend it. And then pour it over the beans, just like that. You know what I didn't add when I did that? I seem to always forget it to the end. I didn't add salt and pepper. So I'm gonna add a little bit of my Japanese salt to that. Little umami flavor. Okay, and then I chopped up 1 onion, and I have some jalapenos laying around, so I also chopped up a jalapeno. I don't always put jalapenos in it, but my kids like spicy, and I'm sending these beans home with them. So I'm gonna mix that in there. So 1 package of dried beans, some chicken broth. I like to do a can of Mexican stewed tomatoes, garlic, onions, chili powder, cumin, salt, pepper, it's that easy. And this is why I'm making sure I have everything here. Make sure the beans are covered, you know, that there's liquid over the beans so that they'll absorb. One of the things when I would soak the beans overnight, the beans absorb all the liquid and you know how much water to put up. But when you cook it this way, they haven't expanded yet. So just be sure and have enough liquid to hold the expansion. And then I'm just gonna put it in the Instapot, and I'm gonna do it at bean chili for 30, I think since they're raw, I'll do it for 35 minutes. Start, and then it'll come to pressure. You know, the time, 35 minutes, it takes longer than 35 minutes because that's the cook time. It'll come to pressure, and depending on how cold the food is, that can take 10 minutes, that can take 30 minutes for it to come to pressure, and then it'll cook for 35 minutes. So within an hour, I went from raw beans to cooked beans within an hour, and that's amazing to me. So next I'm going to make my cilantro lime rice to show you to go with that. And that's it. That's as easy as that. Have a great day, guys. Bye.